world's best acting class. Now, that's a pretty bold claim, but where else can you get such real-life drama in an acting class? A few years ago, I was teaching an acting class in Las Vegas, and this particular class, this night that I was teaching, we had 20 students in class. Oh, we had 17 students and 3 that was auditing the class to see whether they wanted to take the class or not. Now, the building that I taught in was a casting office in Las Vegas, and it was in an industrial park area, so at nighttime when I taught my class, it was rather dark around there, and the parking lot was rather dark. But the owner of the agency had given me keys to go into the studio. Now, this particular building, it was set up where there was a door to the outside parking lot, and if you entered that door, you would walk into a conference room with a really large table and maybe 10 or 12 chairs sitting around the table. And then on the other side of the conference table was another door that entered into a rather large studio where I taught my classes. So every class, about halfway through the class, we take a break and we go outside into the parking lot and just hang out for 5 or 10 minutes, during the break, and then we go back into class. So on this particular night, me and about the other 20 students, we were all standing out in the parking lot just taking our break. And all of a sudden, a security guard pulls up in his Jeep. And he jumps out of his Jeep and he's got his hand on his gun. And I kind of go, whoa, guy got a little macho attitude. And I start to walk toward him, and he tells me not to move, and he puts his hand a little bit more tighter on his gun. And I said, whoa, hold on here, bud. I teach an acting class here. I got the keys. I'm allowed to be here, so forth and so forth. And finally, he believed me, and he got in his Jeep and rode away. So we thought everything was okay. So I take the class back into the studio, through the conference room and into the studio. And I start teaching again, and maybe 15 minutes pass, 10 minutes so. And all of a sudden, I hear a voice saying, "Come out now with your hands up." And it just took me by surprise because I didn't know where the hell the voice was coming from. I thought some student in the class was disguising their voice, or maybe was a ventriloquist or something and was throwing their voice. And I didn't know what the hell was going on. So I kind of didn't pay much attention to it, and maybe 30 seconds passed, and a little bit more louder and intense voice says, come out now with your hands up, or I'm sending in the dog." And all of a sudden it hits me, holy shit, what is this? And I can now realize the voice was coming from outside the acting class. And it scared the shit out of me, and by this time the students heard it, and we're all just like, what the hell is going on here? And so I opened the door to the acting class, which leads into the conference room. And like I said, on the other side of the conference table is the door that leads outside to the parking lot. Well, as soon as I opened the door in the acting class, the first thing I see on the other side of the conference table is the other door open, and there's 2 guns in the dark pointed right at me. I could see the barrels. They were pointed right at me. And somebody had a German Shepherd on a leash that was just foaming at the mouth and big fangs and teeth showing. Scared the living shit out of me. And my first response was, I just slammed the door really quick. And in hindsight, that was the wrong thing to do. And very quickly, I heard, "This is your last warning. Come out now with your hands in the air, or I'm sending in the dog." And by that time, I'd realized, well, this has the sounding of cops. So I very gingerly, by this time, we're all scared to death. We didn't know what the fuck was going on. So I very gingerly opened the door again. And there again is the cops step into the conference room, so I could clearly see it was cops. And now they were 4 cops, and they all had their guns drawn. And this one cop had this German Shepherd on the leash, ready to eat me alive. And so, having 4 guns pointing in my direction, I very carefully and very nervously and very slowly stepped out of the acting class into the conference room with my hands up. And they said, "Is there anybody else in the room with you inside?" And I said, "Yes, I'm teaching an acting class here. I'm allowed to be here. I got 20 other people in the room here." And they said, "We want each and every one of you to put your hands in the air and step outside, single file." So, and I'm leading the way. And these guns are all pointed right at me. And you can't help but think, oh my God, all you got to do is your eyebrows got to twitch the wrong way and they're going to open fire. Because I didn't know what the fuck was going on. But talk about being scared. As soon as we got through the conference room, and I'm the first one leading the line, and we go outside, as soon as we hit the outside, there are 3 more cops. So a total of 7 cops standing with their guns pointing right at us. There's 3 cop cars in the parking lot and another 2 cops behind the parking lot with their guns drawn, perched behind their cars. And on top of everything, there is a helicopter circling ahead. Holy shit. They put us all up against the wall, made us put our hands against the wall. All the time, I guess now there was 7, 8, 9 or 10 cops with the dog and their guns all drawn pointing at us. And I was terrified of the guns, but honestly, I probably was just as terrified of that dog getting loose because it was going crazy at the end of the leash. And since I was the leader when the turned out to be the sergeant, started asking questions, I explained to them that we're supposed to be here and I have the keys to the building and da-da-da, I'm an acting instructor, I have permission of the owner. And finally they believed us and we all could put our hands down and relax, even though we were all shaking like a leaf. The cops put their guns away. The sergeant actually apologized, but he explained to me that they had thought that there was a robbery, that we were all robbing the building. What had happened is the security guard who had camped there before, somehow we had set off a silent alarm that the owner had forgotten to turn off. And somewhere during the class we had set it off. So the silent alarm goes off in the security guard's office. He comes out, sees everything is okay, we're all good. And he is supposed to report right away to the police department, because I think the alarm goes off also at the police department. But anyway, he was supposed to report right away to the police department, everything's cool. Well, this stupid idiot of a security guard never phoned in or never reported in that everything was cool. So the cops get the alarm and figure there's a robbery going on. So that's why they showed up with guns drawn, dog, ready to eat you alive, and the helicopter circling overhead. So after everything calmed down, the cops left. We went back into class, and everybody kind of took a deep breath and sigh of relief and go, oh my God, that was fucking crazy. Bottom line, it worked out to my benefit because the 3 students who were there auditing the class, they all said, damn, we're taking this class. Where else can you go to an acting class and get to play cops and robbers for real right in the acting class? So they all signed up for acting class. But it was certainly an experience that we all will remember. And I guess for the night, it was the world's best acting class, because even though I was an extremely popular acting instructor in Las Vegas, probably for that night, I had the world's best acting class, because where else can you have real life drama like that in an acting class and actually get to play cops and robbers for real? Thanks for listening. This is Up to Downstairs with Carson Roberts.